Shalom.
And pretty much, this title comes from a video that Elder Pastor was doing earlier. And he mentioned this title, and it's basically through an alley-oop to me. So, I'm jumping on it. And Lord's will to be an edifying lesson. And we're just going to go through it. I wanted to start off just by saying that there was a video the Elder Pastor was doing where he was reacting to a video that Priest Tazama from the Dallas camp was doing. And he said he had a dream where, in the dream, he said by December 22nd, 2025, digital ID would be in America. So, I just messing around on Google and I typed in there. Somebody want to type that in? Or let's help you out if you got to see something. You want to type in, will there be digital ID in America by December 22nd, 2025? Does somebody type that in?
Yep.
And we'll see if we can pull something up. And then that way, because when I typed it in, it said no, that there wasn't going to be, a digital ID, but there are different states that are passing legislation to bring out what was that called, MDL, mobile driver's license, which is pretty much a digital driver's license. So they said they wanted to decentralize it so that it wouldn't seem like it's all one under one banner, so to speak. But nevertheless, once they get the system in place, it doesn't matter how many different avenues you're coming with it from, it's all going to lead to the same thing. It's all going to lead to total control, to that digital, system that we've been speaking about over and over again, which you have individuals out there tired of us speaking about it, but hey, it's here. We are speaking about it, going into different articles, going into different technologies, based off of this digital system and the cashless society that they plan on bringing. People were mad that, we were speaking about it ad nauseum. But nevertheless, it's here. But it just hasn't been fully implemented yet.
Right. Or made mandatory.
Made mandatory yet, right. So once it's made mandatory, well, first is the implementation, voluntary. Most people are going to be backed into a corner, be in a desperate mind state, and they're going to accept it and be deceived into accepting it so that they can survive, But eventually, once they get enough people on the hook, then they plan on making it mandatory. And this is where you're going to have, certain of the elect that will be beheaded for their witness and their refusal to take the MOTB, which is the micro CHIP. Did anybody type that in?
Yeah, I typed it in.
Okay, what you got, my brother?
It says, no, the United States, well, this is from the AI overview. It says, no, the United States will not have a national ID system by December 2025. However, the real ID enforcement deadline for federal facilities and domestic flights is May 7th, 2025. Requiring a physical real ID compliant driver's license or alternative like a passport. While some states like New Jersey are working on digital licenses, implementation is at least 3 years away, and the federal government has revoked some digital ID directives, indicating no widespread system change imminent.
Right, so, but the point is that they're moving in that direction. There are some states that are already, planning on bringing this, what they call MDL. Somebody type that in, MDL, digital ID meaning. Because if you just type MDL, it's going to bring out all kinds of other stuff. It's the MDL pretty much is the mobile driver's license. And the mobile driver's license is pretty much the digital driver's license of the future. Now they're saying, well, that you're still going to have your physical ID, blah, blah, blah. But that's all going to be phased out because it's those are talking points to make people that say, well, I don't want that, make them feel comfortable to where they can still have the solid ID. know? But at the end of the day, once they get the system in place, then they can make the necessary provisions. What you got, bro?
MDL, digital ID, stands for Mobile Driver's License, and it's a secure digital version of a state-issued driver's license or ID card that is stored on a smartphone or other mobile device. It offers convenience and enhanced security.
Right. So now, what have been the talking points lately? You know, you went from having a credit card, swiping the credit card, to now having a chip in the credit card. Now you can wave the credit card, tap the credit card, right? So to where you had different apps on your phone where you could pay with the apps on your phone, pay with your phone. So this is all, you know, gearing towards getting the people ready for the new system that they're going to have in place. Because the bottom line is, once you get, let's say everybody, okay, now everybody has to pay with their phone, right? Then if they implement the next step, right, you're going to have to comply with that step because the system is already set for everybody to pay with their phone.
Yeah.
Or everybody to have a digital ID. You want to say something?
Well, the only thing I'll say, well, I know for when I listen to 680 conservative radio, they always reference NJIT. And when the other brother had mentioned that New Jersey was the leading source in it, the leading state, is because NJIT, which I got it pulled up, it says it calls itself the nexus of innovation, and it's basically breeding ground for Wall Street. You know, so, and what's Wall Street? That's your commerce.
There you go, commerce, nigga.
Yeah. So, and right here in AI overview, I put an NJIT slogan. It says New Jersey Institute of Technology doesn't have a single official slogan, but it has embraced the phrase of nexus of innovation as part of its strategic plan to be the center for new technology, research, commercialization, and tackling global challenges. You know, and like I said, and then when you go to the site, it says NJIT is #1 public university.
Yeah, you got it, bro. Go.
#1 public university in New Jersey for value, salary in Wall Street Journal of 2026 best college. You know, so this is the place where a lot of your techies and, you know, are being brought out of to bring forth the infrastructure for the New World agenda.
Right.
You know, mainly in America, you know. Because again, it's a global agenda, but it really is going to hit when it hits America. You know, that's when it's really going to take off, when America makes it mandatory. Because you got places, Sweden and Estonia, the water. You got places like that where they have an infrastructure, but it's really going to jump out the window when America, you know, pushes it.
Yeah,
you know?
because the scriptures say that the nations were made drunk pretty much by the harlot and that cup.
Right.
So America is the catapult.
Exactly.
For the New World Order. America is the catapult for, you know, the everything that people are doing around the world is mirroring what America's doing. It's not mirroring what the Vatican's doing. It's not mirroring what China or Russia or any other mother nations are doing. When you look at the planet, if you was to leave America and go to another country, you would feel like you were home because they all have, you know, an infrastructure built like America.
Yes, replicated. They all replicated after America.
Right. So the world isn't, you know, complying to other nations. You know, it's complying to America. Because America is Babylon the Great, and America, Lord, matter of fact, somebody get Jeremiah 51. Babylon had been a golden cup. America is the standard for setting the policies and the mindset of the New World Order, of the future. That's why everybody's being like America. Everybody wants to be. You have something called Americanization. You have huts in China, to where these huts in China, you know, are actually McDonald's. Now I don't know if you eat the French fries with chopsticks, you know, and you put soy sauce on the burger,
right?
You know, but the point, and seaweed. But the point is that it's called McDonald's. You know?
Yeah.
You got it.
Yep. This is Jeremiah 51:7. Babylon have been a golden cup in the Lord's hand
Beautiful.
that made all the earth drunken.
So it's been a golden cup in the Lord's hand. Matter of fact, look, you got the blue letter?
Yes, sir.
Can you pull up that word golden cup? It's been a golden cup because the Lord has used America to push the policies of the world. Why? Because this is the place that's going to corrupt the world into accepting this global, alliance, this global digital system. And this is the place that the Lord is going to use to destroy when you were wicked. You got that?
Yeah, it's broken up.
Okay, well, go to golden first.
Okay, Khan. The word there is zahab.
Okay, which is gold.
Yeah, a precious metal as a measure of weight, of brilliance, splendor.
Right, brilliance and splendor. The golden city.
Right.
How has the golden city ceased? So that's splendor. Matter of fact, look up the word splendor. That word splendor means to shine. So America is that shining light that is ushering in the New World Order, that is ushering in this global digital system.
Yep. In the dictionary definition, it says magnificent and splendid appearance.
Right.
Grandeur, magnificence.
Right.
Yep, that's pretty much it.
And that pretty much that glow of America, that golden city. And gold is what? It's precious. It's precious metal. It shines. And America is known as that place where people can up their living standards.
Yeah, and another thing that stood out to me was that it said a measure of weight, because gold is heavy.
Right.
The word for cup, it says cup.
So what?
Salakia. Kawas.
Kawas.
Yep, kawas. It says cup, a kind of owl, an unclean bird. Well, I guess that would be the. Oh, yeah.
For a cup?
Yeah.
Well, that shows you America is that owl. America, you have the Illuminati, the Luciferians.
Right.
What else you got?
It says often. This is in the Strong's. It says often figuratively, a lot as a potion. Also,
what is a potion?
Right.
A potion is something that you put together to make somebody drink, to put them under a spell.
Yeah.
That's why it speaks about, the mysteries of witchcraft. It speaks about standing now without enchantments. Because through the policies of America, they made the world to be drunken, but they made the world to be drunken in a state to where I gotta have it.
Yeah.
Like you have certain drugs that are so powerful that they, when people take them, they become addicted to it so much that that's all they could think about is the next hit. Well, that's what America's policies are like. They got the world under a spell.
Yeah.
Drinking that cup. So the America has been a golden cup in the Lord's hand. Go ahead.
I got Isaiah 25:7.
Bring it out.
And he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people.
Yep.
And the veil that is spread over all nations.
Right. That's the deception. That's the the different labels that nations have. They don't have the ancient labels, but it's also that deceptive, that trance, that spell that America has over these nations. They're going to snap out of it.
Yeah.
That's why I said the nations that become drunk, and therefore the nations are mad, or something along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
But you got it.
Now, the word for veil is masakah, which is similar to kawas, right? Because the ma before it means of or from, right? It says a pouring, libation.
There you go.
Molten metal, cast, image, drink offering.
Because what is a cast?
Right.
A cast is something that, you have a metal, like you have a gold, or you have silver, or you have lead, or whatever, and then you have a mold, which is the cast.
Right.
And you pour that mold, that hot, whatever it is
or like
in there.
Building columns.
Right. And then once it cools and you take it out, it's formed into the image of that cast.
Yeah.
So that's what America has molded the world to, the cast of the American thinking way.
Yeah. Well, I'll just read it again. Pouring libation, and that's what, like it said before, a potion. Because this is not just a regular drink.
Right.
It comes with a philosophy. It comes with a sacrifice.
Right.
It comes with, a worship of a separate deity. It comes with the marriage to Satan.
Yeah.
The dragon, the beast.
Yeah. It's a union.
Yeah. Yep. So that was pretty much it on that.
Okay, so you got something, brother?
Yeah, I got Nexus.
Okay, yeah, Nexus, I believe it's a network, if I'm not mistaken. You got it.
All right, so I got the root word. The root word is Ned. So when you go into the root word, it says Proto-Indo-European root, meaning to bind, tie.
Right. So it's like a network that's used to bind everything together.
Right.
Like, you know how you have a honeycomb and all of those different little things are all
Pockets.
Connected together.
Yep.
That's a nexus. It's the network. You got it.
Right.
Yeah, so the nexus, it means bond, link, interdependence between members of a series or groups or group.
Right. And that's what the internet being used to tie the whole global system together. This is why you got, your 5G. This is why you got, everything going digital. It's not a coincidence that all these different nations are going digital. So, matter of fact, I had sent you this Instagram post. Now, I don't know if you could send it to the Elder Pishai, and then it should be the you can send it to him. So
it's gonna go to that phone. It's gonna
it's gonna go there. Oh, what about sending it to this brother?
Yeah.
I what? And pretty much, it's the plans of this new digital ID. So everything is being tied together. So it's not a coincidence that all of these different nations are one way of shape or form, adding a digital ID to their infrastructure.
Yeah.
Like they said by what, January? Yep. And then you could scroll through here, scroll like that.
Okay.
And it's gonna tell you. You could read that in the caption, and then you could scroll to the next one.
If I say this too, because
Yes,
you got
sir.
like certain brothers, I believe the Elder Quanah Walk, but maybe other brothers too, they'll do a series called All Roads Lead to the MOTB.
Yep.
Because everything that's going on, whether it looks independent from a different situation from another country or not, it's all leading to one direction. It's all leading to the MOTB being set up. All right, and they're doing it in stages, and they're making it seem these nations are adopting these things at their own free will.
Yeah.
When it's the least behind the scenes that are orchestrating things.
Yeah. Everybody's against everybody.
Yeah.
It's the same game. You got it.
Yeah, the world is a stage.
Yep.
And all these world leaders, they're playing a part. Like Trump, that's a part. He's playing a actual. A character.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're playing characters. Like you were even saying, like with Biden, what if that, when he was mumbling in the shit, what if that was part of the act?
Right.
What if he was acting? All these, you have like Ronald Reagan, was he not an actor?
Yep.
You got Zelensky, was he not an actor?
Yep.
Donald Trump, was he not an actor? Are these people that are trained to put on different characters when the cameras come on?
Yeah. Red Ronnie. That's Ronald Reagan.
Mm-hmm.
You got it, bro.
Yeah, the term they say politics is Hollywood for ugly people.
Yep.
So Instagram post. The first, it says the sinister origin of the digital ID agenda and the terrifying end goal. It is no coincidence that in lockstep, much of the world are passing digital ID laws.
Well, most of the world are passing digital ID laws. That's why Keir Starmer, right? He said that by the end of that parliament, which Elder Pastor went into it, which I figured it was like the end of the term, which will end in January of 2026, everybody in there has to accept the digital ID in order to work. Now you had was it over 3,000 people or more that signed petitions against it?
I think 1 million, 3 million.
1 million, 3 million. It doesn't matter how many people sign it. They're going to push it. He said it. If you don't take it, you ain't gonna work.
Yeah.
Protests don't work.
Right.
So what is that gonna cause? That's gonna cause uproars of the people. Because they're gonna push people into a corner to where they're gonna have to do something about, what's going on.
Right.
What shows you that none of these governments are actual democratic republics. They're not democracies, because the people will actually have a say-so.
Right.
And the people did not vote for a digital ID.
Yep.
They didn't vote for that.
Right.
Neither are they going to vote for MOTB.
Right.
Being mandatory. They didn't vote. They didn't vote for a jump shot.
Right.
These things were all forced. They had 2 horns like a lamb, but spake as a dragon. So now we're seeing these governments that have been bought and paid for by the elites speaking as dragons to their, to their citizens, which is going to cause the citizens, to, riot, sedition, which is going to give the government more power to come down even harder. So it's really like a two-edged sword, and the devil is trying to use it to his advantage, but this is actually his end as he pushes the system.
Right.
So there were about 14 countries in the past 3 months that either
past 3 months
rolled out or passed digital ID laws.
Yep. Can you read some of them?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, come on. It says the UK was one, Keir Starmer, China, Laos, Taiwan, Mexico, Zambia, Canada, Ethiopia, Thailand, Australia, of course, Costa Rica, Switzerland, Vietnam, and Papua New Guinea.
Right, and now you got America that's talking about using these MDLs or mobile driver's license, which is going to be pretty much a digital driver's license on your phone. So the world is moving in that direction. Why? But why is the world moving in that direction? Because this is the prophecy timeline. Once that prophecy is fully fulfilled, everything moves faster and faster. Because the thing that's bottlenecking prophecy right now is the MOTB. Everything else is in place. The people are stirred up. People are going crazy around the world. Uproars of the people. You got World War III and the troops, all amassing and fighting certain wars already, getting that warmed up. You got rise, shortages on the rise. That MOTB is what's bottlenecking. All of them prophecies from going forward fast. So once that prophecy breaks, that'll be like getting past the bottleneck in traffic.
Right.
All that congestion.
Be broken up by that cayenne pepper.
Yeah.
The cayenne pepper of prophecy.
Which is a stimulant.
Yeah.
And the Lord through the prophets is stimulating prophecy. Making things move quick. Well, like cayenne pepper makes things move quicker.
Yes, sir.
It stimulates.
Thins out the blood.
That's it.
It says digital ID agenda originates from the WEF. They do not hide their agenda.
Right. They already told you what it's going to be. They're going to be surveillance under the skin, tracking under the skin. You will own nothing and be happy. You will eat the bugs.
Yeah.
There's no coincidence that they're buying up all of the different farmlands.
Right.
And all these different farmers are catching hell. They going bankrupt.
Yeah.
Why is that? Because they want to control the global food source. Because you have something called the Malthusian theory. Malthusian theory is that the population of the world is going to grow exponentially, and the food supply is not going to grow with it. So they have to the population in order to be able to keep up with the food supply.
Yeah.
Which is total BS, because if the world was taught how to farm, everybody would have enough for themselves.
It's like you don't have a ticket to get in. The MOTB is like the ticket to get in.
There you go.
Right. That's it.
It's a exclusive club.
Yeah.
And the only way you can actually be in the VIP section is if you have that device implanted in you.
The digital all, man.
There you go. Which that digital all, they understand, makes someone a servant for life, perpetual slave. And that servant for life was what? The master didn't grab him up and said, "No, I'm gonna stab you with this all."
He volunteered.
Right, he volunteered for it. And this is what they're making. The majority of the world is going to volunteer to be servants for life.
Yeah, because you can't. It's been proven that you can't force people into it.
Yep.
Ultimately, they rebel. You always have a fear of rebellion. So now they switch tactics, and now it's deceiving you into basically you going into your own slavery. You putting the shackles on yourself.
Right.
I'd be remiss not to say this is why you have to have the name of the Lord, bro.
That's it.
You have to have the name of the Lord, because you have these people out here that swear up and down they're not going to take it. But they don't understand that this devil is going to roll in the fashion that he is. Scriptures say he bear not the sword in vain. So you got these individuals, you're not zealots and, well, I ain't taking it, I ain't going to take it. Look, the Most High is putting a particular spirit on Esau Edom to put the squeeze on people to have them voluntarily take it.
That's it.
And want to take it. People don't understand that part of their brain is going to be opened up to be willingly acceptant to their own captivity.
Yeah.
Digitally.
Yeah, they already took the juice.
Right.
And what else? You know, what the fuck was in there? You know, you don't know what the hell is in you, dormant, ready to fucking, you know, do something in your mind. We don't know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of movies, a lot of speculation, but that was something big.
Yeah.
And that was really introducing you to the government telling you your ass better come and do this.
That's it.
Forcing you.
And then also too to mark those who didn't.
Yeah.
To keep that record of those who didn't, because they know that, okay, I might have a hard time with this individual. So there's going to be different measures towards those individuals, and the squeeze is going to be on. Your families are going to be threatened.
Yep.
You know, your livelihood is going to be threatened to be taken away. You know,
Squeeze is real.
yeah,
Well, that's one of the killing instruments or killing tactics of a serpent. You have certain serpents that bite you with venom. You know, it could be fast acting, could be slow acting, and then you have constricting serpents, in which they lay weight and they grab you and they kill you with the squeeze.
Like the anaconda.
Like the anaconda, the python, you know, the king snake. Every time you breathe in, it squeezes harder. So now you can't exhale out, and that's pretty much what he's doing to the economy. He's doing to these people through all these social engineering tactics and these false flags, these psychological operations. Basically, he could just continue to keep squeezing your ass to where you
submission.
Into submission.
Yeah.
You know, because once that snake get a hold of you, it's it.
It's over.
yeah.
You know, it's it. You know, that's it. Your life is going to be squeezed out of you.
I got a quick precept. There's Ecclesiastes 3:1. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. And this is why you see the world leaning in the direction that it's going, prophecy-wise. You know? And this is why we don't waste our time with these Christians. We don't waste our time with gainsayers and scoffers and mockers. We don't have time to sit there and argue with you. You know? We don't believe in wasting our time. Like that clown that came to the camp last night. He said, well, you scared? You scared to answer a question? No, I'm not scared. You know, I just don't believe in wasting time. You know, I've seen your kind many times before, you know, and I'm not impressed. You come in with the same tired ass arguments that the Christians come in with their bullshit. And we're moving on.
Yeah. We too close to be bullshitting around.
Yeah.
You know, if we see that you can't get it, we moving on.
That's it.
You know, we don't have time to be going back and forth with semantics and you don't believe. All right, cool. Well, we'll see you when the chip get, you know, if you make it that far. A lot of niggas ain't gonna make it that far.
Right.
You know, they gonna die in famine, they gonna die in disease, they gonna be sent over to these different wars. You know, they gonna just die of heart attacks and just, you know, just going crazy. Or they marauders. You know, you're gonna have people going house to house.
Yep.
You know, so you're gonna have these gangs, you're gonna have people hungry, killing people, eating each other. So it's gonna get that bad, man. You know,
just 15 and 16.
That's it.
I got another one. This is Ecclesiastes 8:6. Because to every purpose there is time and judgment. Therefore the misery of man is great upon him. You know, so there's a time and a judgment for everything, and that's what we're in. That's what the times that we're in. The prophecy timeline. So the prophecies are not going to fully move forward until the main prophecy is fulfilled, which is the MOTB, which is the micro-CHIP. You got any more on that, bro?
There's plenty more.
Okay.
So, you know, there's a solution.
And any preset you know,
there's a solution for every aspect of life, basically. So, the first one is healthcare.
Yep.
Then they got the food supply, which you mentioned earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Mandate registration for food purchases or farming via supply chain traceability.
And you see them setting that system up. It's a weirdo right here. You see them setting that system up with the EBT. You know, they're pretty much getting ready to cut people off.
Yep.
They're gonna turn it back on. They're gonna turn it back on, but it's gonna be with conditions. It's gonna be with restrictions.
Yeah.
If you want to get back on my system and you want food, you want to eat, well, you're gonna have to do A, B, and C.
Yeah.
And the majority of the people, they're gonna do it.
Remember what RFK said? You're not gonna be able to buy the junk food. Was it him that said that?
I'm not sure.
You know, like they're trying.
I know Trump. That was within it. they wanted to do. Maybe that could have been with him because he's like the Secretary of Health, something like that.
Some shit.
Yeah.
You know, so like they, and pretty much, so-called carbon footprint and all that. You ate too much meat this week or this month, so that's gonna be cut down. Now, when you watch the movie 1984, right? What they did was you had individuals that were slaves working and putting out the headlines and putting out fake headlines. Now, one of the headlines, right? People were getting 35 grams of chocolate for their rations. So what they did was they wanted to cut it back, to 30 grams, but they wanted to make the people think that they were getting more.
Yeah.
So what they did was like, well, the chocolate rations are going up from 25 grams to 30 grams when it was already 35, and they brought it down to 30. But it's a thing of newspeak.
Yeah.
It's a thing of double speak, double tongue, double talk.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what they're doing in this society.
Yeah, like a serpent.
Yeah.
A serpent has that forked tongue. The serpent doesn't come at you directly. Well, that's the nature of the serpent. The serpent is really defensive on a one-on-one fight.
Yeah.
It's really defensive. It crawls, it slithers. It doesn't have any defense. Don't have no legs. Can't fly. So it has to be very deceptive. It has to the left, to the right. So when he speaks, he doesn't speak directly at you. He speaks to the side of you. Right. He'll say one thing on the left side, another thing on the right. The whole time your ass is confused. Yeah. You actually don't know what he really means. Okay?
I got something for you.
And that's just the nature of the devil that we're dealing with. But the scriptures say,
the nature of the devil we're dealing with.
The scriptures say, we are not ignorant of Satan's devices.
Yep.
One of his devices is, the scriptures say how his tongue is like a sword. His bitter words.
Yeah.
I'm not quoting verbatim. But that's how he gets down. That's also part of his sword. Power over,
deception.
Deception.
I got that real quick. Psalm 64:3.
Okay, yeah.
It says, "Who whet their tongue like a sword."
Yeah, like a sword, and his blessing was a sword. So he uses his words as a sword. A weapon. He weaponizes everything. He's weaponizing your own subconscious against you. He literally, as a child, he's been subconsciously programming you.
Yeah.
This is why they put so much money into studying the human body. Okay, studying the DNA, studying the mind. The psyche.
Two horns like a lamb, but he spake as a dragon.
Yeah, and what proves that is the RFID technology. They can actually put a microchip inside of you and put it in a particular place in the brain, okay, and have you connect to a computer and control the computer. How the fuck you do that?
Right. Because
they had a diligent search.
Yeah.
The
Most High blessed them with that ability.
Yeah, and it's all based on signals.
Yeah.
So they could take that same signal that you're transmitting out and transmit it back in total control.
There's nothing.
Your thoughts.
Right.
They far beyond just controlling you physically, controlling you, monetarily, food and where you live. They want to control your thoughts.
Yeah.
That's why in 1984, once again, you had individuals that were charged with crimes, and the crimes were what? Thought criminals.
Yep.
They were thought criminals because they dared to have their own independent thought outside of what they were being taught.
Yeah, that's what the whole J6 was. The individuals got thrown into Guantanamo. In order for them to come home, they had to be they couldn't have the same ideology.
Yeah.
They couldn't listen to certain radio stations. They couldn't even listen to certain music anymore. In order for them to come home and be amongst the free.
Yeah. It's called so-called rehabilitation.
Right. But it's it's a psychological rehabilitation. That's crazy.
Control rehabilitation.
Well, yeah, they did that through MK Ultra. That's what MK Ultra was all about.
Yep.
Was to break down your psyche and rebuild a new psyche.
Yeah.
With whatever they want you to do.
Yeah.
And that was through torture, through mind manipulation tactics, through drugs.
And that's going back to the 60s. So what do they have now? It says, and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words.
Bitter words. Can you do me a favor? Can you look up that word bitter? I don't know if it's going to be one word or two words. Bitter. And that's pretty much goes into what? Into their legislation. This is why you have so many different laws going on, and then they're speaking against certain laws that they want to get in place anyways, because that's a technique of getting things passed. Speaking against it, so people, yeah, that's right. But then eventually they're gonna pass it anyway. You see how this devil moving?
Yeah, to make it seem like there's an opposition.
Right.
Control opposition.
There you go.
You know, you watch wrestling, WWE and stuff like that, and you know, you got two sides, and they act like they're mortal enemies against each other. They hate each other. They would take their families out if they had a chance. If they see them on the street, they'll, you know, put them, you know, take them out. Yeah. But the whole time they in the back, right before they got a beer together, you know, they literally best friends.
Eating sandwiches.
You know, and cashing them checks, laughing.
Yeah.
You know, you hit me like this next time.
Yeah.
You know, and that's basically what we're seeing. It's control opposition. They control both sides. They even control, you know, so-called people coming against it, like a Candace Owens, a Plant. You know, all these what's it called? What's the dude's name?
Charlie Kirk.
Charlie Kirk. All, you know, guys like that. You know,
I would be like the Most High.
Oh, Charleston White,
same thing. John, Bones Jones? What's his dude?
Oh, Skull and Bones Jones.
Yeah. All them dudes. Alex Bones Jones. Okay, they're all control opposition. The only thing he can't control is the spirit, and that infuriates him. You know, that agitates him. And this is why he has to move, you know, so deceptively when coming against the Hebrew Israelites. You know, because really, with our speech, we're blameless, even within his law.
Right.
Even in his law, we're actually blameless. This is why he has to actually change the laws now.
Yeah, that's why he has to demonize and have even Israelites making fake, you know, videos of them fighting with the Edomites, you know, to demonize the Israelites even more, because, you know, they don't have anything. This is what they did in the Black Panthers. You had individuals that infiltrated and did certain shit to blame it on them, to blame it on the whole movement.
That's it.
But you got it, Pashai.
Yeah, it's mar for the word bitter in words. It says bitterness of water or food, of harlot's end of wickedness, cry of pain. Yep.
Right. So bitter words, because basically what they're doing with the economy, with the commerce, is they're pretty much oppressing the people to where it's going to make the people cry. You know, it's going to make the people be in such an oppressed state that they're going to be crying, you know, because there's no other way around, you know, no other way around this system that they're putting in place. So they're going to have to comply. And most people, like the elder said earlier, don't have the names of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, don't have the truth, you know, so they have nothing to fall back on, to lean on. You know, they don't have, you know, a shoulder to lean on, so to speak, you know, and no strong power. That's it.
Can we get James 5?
Yes, sir.
4?
Bring it out.
Just to go on what you were just saying, Apostle,
Yes,
about how people are going to be crying, and well, they're crying out now, like that petition out there in the UK. They're actually trying to stop, you know, the UK from implementing digital ID, because there are people that know what this actually means. This means more control.
That's it.
This means less autonomy, less freedom.
That's freedom. That's it.
And they know that this can open up the door to even more draconian rule.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, because all they have to do is get certain legislation passed. Legislation is interpretive. Once they get legislation in, that's why when you read some of these legislations, they're always ambiguous. They're open-ended, open for interpretation of the moment. And this is why Esau, at the scripture I got here, this is why Esau does that, because that's his nature. If I may just read this real quick before you read that, and then we'll get back. No, I know you got more. I know you got more, brother.
No, that's all good. It's all good.
Psalms 55 and 20. He hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He hath broken his covenant. All right? It says, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart.
Department of War.
Yep.
You know, peace, peace, peace. Trump came in on peace, peace, peace. And what did he do? He brought war, war, war. So they speak backwards. Whatever they say is they're gonna do the exact opposite.
The white man's words are lies.
That's it.
His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. So those are those bitter words. This legislation, because at the end of the day, once they pass this legislation, once they get everything in place, once they get the system in place, no matter what, device they're using, they're all going to go to the agenda that they want anyway, which is the micro CHIP, because that's the plans of the so-called illuminated ones. Why? Because it's prophecy. This is what the Apostle John saw the people doing. So the Apostle John saw the moment where people started taking this thing. And he said that majority of people got what? Deceived into accepting it. And then he saw the ones that didn't accept it, certain ones of them got beheaded because they refused to take, the device. You see? So y'all got it.
This is James 5:4. It says, "Behold, the hire of the laborers who have reaped down your fields."
Yeah. Right, the hire of the laborers which have reaped down your field. These are the workers. Job 20, it calls them the wicked. But it's not talking about being wicked. It's talking about the wicked laborers are concerned. Because the word there's imal. So really the word, and I'm pretty sure if you look it up like in the NOT or the NIV, it'll probably have something different, a different wording for the word wicked. Because the word wicked was a mistranslation. For they could have put wretched, or laborer. Because it's really talking about the laborers that's going to come, because the laboring force, which is the majority of the people on the planet, are going to be getting the short end of the stick. This is why you have so many uproars, because the uproars of the people are coming. Why? Because of the cost of living, because of the shortage of money, because of the shortage of raises, because of the constant rise of living, the cost of living, and they're not able to keep up with it.
Yeah, the oppression.
That's the oppression. Because if people were able to keep up with their living, keep up with their payments, keep up with the food and the lifestyle that they're used to, they're not going to rise up.
Yep. But that just proves that Esau is the wicked.
Yeah.
Because if, just like you just said, if all those things, the people were able to keep up with their standard of living and everything was good, then it wouldn't be a wicked society.
Right.
Esau wouldn't, he wouldn't be such a bad guy, right?
That's right.
False balance is abomination.
The people would be rejoicing.
That's it. The people will rejoice. When the righteous bear rule, the people rejoice.
Yeah.
Everybody will be rejoicing, which proves that, he's the wicked,
That's it.
And he's fulfilling that lot. And as we get closer to the end, it's more obvious of what the plan is. It's why everybody now is a truther.
Get all the way over.
Okay, God. But you got it though, bro.
Come. It says, "Behold," James 5:4. "Behold, the hire of the laborers who have reaped down your field."
Oh, because look, the laborers are the ones that actually built the infrastructure. That made the technology.
Yep.
They at least didn't make the technology. They just funded the technology and moved everything into that direction.
Right. And they bought into technology that was invented, and they took over it.
Yeah. They invest into it.
There you go.
You got people who got shares and stocks into these forms of the infrastructure that's coming.
Yep.
Private equity is emerging. Private capital. And they're intertwining it between government and the private sector, so that Wall Street can profit off.
Yeah, technocracy.
Yeah.
Because you have these heads of these different corporations, but again, the corporation, the head of that corporation, that person is hired in. There's people that sit on the board that actually control things.
That's it.
And then even those people that sit on the board, they're not even in control, because they're nothing but patsies.
Yep.
Okay.
They're management.
That's
no management. Because when you check out the legislation that's being passed, who does it benefit? Cui bono? Who benefits? The corporations. Which shows you that the corporations are the ones funding, these different senators and congressmen to pass this legislation. That's why Mariam Shobaro, which they're saying now that he never said that. He said, "Give me control of a nation's money, and I care not who writes his laws." Because there's the old saying, money talks, bullshit walks. You know? But y'all got it.
It says, it says, behold, the hire of the laborers.
Can you read it in the NLT?
Yeah, Baba Kushar. And then, and if you can, the one in Job 20, I'm not sure the exact verse. It's probably like around the 18th verse, 19th verse around there.
Okay.
This is Job 5 and 4 NLT.
And then in the NLT too.
It says, for listen, hear the cries of the field workers whom you have cheated of their pay.
Field workers who you have, hear the cries of the field workers who you have cheated in their pay.
Yeah, of their pay.
You know?
It says the wages you held back cry out against you.
Right, because you know the money or the wages or the wage that people are getting paid is defrauding them of what they actually worth. Like there's a term, so you know you got to know your worth. You know, if you have a particular skill, you're supposed to be paid for that particular skill. You know, to compensate you for your intelligence, so to speak.
Yeah, your skill set.
Your skill set.
Yeah, because that skill, everybody don't have that skill.
Right.
So that's why you're really paying for that skill.
There you go.
All the hours and hours that individual accrued to learn that skill, to where now that you hired them, the job is done perfectly.
Right.
You know, with efficiency.
There you go.
That there's not a lot of people that can do that skill. So that skill is of the utmost importance. It's very important. You know.
The word skill and wisdom are synonymous.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. Yep.
It says the cries of those who harvest your fields have reached the ears of the Lord of Heaven's armies.
There you go.
And the Sabbath oath.
Yep. So the Lord, you know, is seeing the injustices, you know, and He's going to judge you for that.
Yeah.
And eventually you're going to have to pay for that. And that's why. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that's Jake.
Yeah. Of course. Yep. And that's why it says that your gold is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against
your
you.
Moth is
Your moth eaten. Your garments are moth eaten.
moth-eaten.
Because the way that you set up this society, you didn't work for it.
Right.
You took it, and you built upon it, you know, and you continue to amass your wealth. But the wealth that you amassed was not wealth that you invested or wealth that you worked hard for. It was wealth that you stole from everybody.
Yeah. And then this system that he's setting up is the biggest robbery in human history.
Yeah.
Because you don't even own anything. Like they told you should own nothing and be happy.
Yep.
And the thing is, they're gonna make it to where gold is gonna be outlawed. That's not gonna even be a legal tender. That's not gonna be a legal form of payment. You know, it's gonna be digital, meaning you don't have anything.
Right.
You know, absolutely nothing.
No hard assets, nothing. You know, and then it's all going to be numbers on a computer screen. You know, and you know, they control what goes out, what comes in. They control the amount you get, and they control, like, if you don't comply, they'll take it away from you. Just like they're doing out in China. That's why you have a lot of people out there that are in homeless encampments because they were shut out of the system. Because, you know, their credit score system, or their credit scores, their social credits did not meet the standard for them to be able to live in that society. And that's what Esau's doing worldwide.
Yep. I got that one in Job. Job 20 and 18. It says.
Is that the NLT?
I'll read it. Job 20 and 18 in NLT. They will give back everything they work for. Their wealth will bring them to no joy.
No, well, get the one where it says, every hand of the wicked shall be against him. That's in Job 20. I'm not sure exactly what verse. In the King James. It says, every hand of the wicked shall be against him. Because I want to see what it says in the NLT. And I'm pretty sure it's going to say, you know, it's going to say...
22, I got it.
22, okay.
Job chapter 20 and verse 22. In the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Every hand of the... Oh, my bad. NLT. In the midst of plenty, they will run in trouble and be overcome by misery.
So they don't really go in. What about the NIV?
Okay, I'll try that one.
I just want to see if any of them touch on, because when you go to the Hebrew word is aimal, which means worker,
right,
laborer.
And this, okay, no, parallel.
So then they're not.
Let me see if I'll pull it up. So that was 22, correct?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, Job 20 and 22. It says, at the height of his success, distress will come to him. The full weight of misery will crush him.
Yeah, so it really ain't going into it. That's why it says that the plowman shall overtake the reaper.
Right.
In the book of Amos, the 9th chapter, around the 13th verse or so. You know, because the plowman, you know, is the one that is working the field. The reaper is the one that's getting the benefits. But the reaper getting the benefits is not paying the ones that's reaping the fields what they deserve. What you got?
Yeah, I got the BBE.
Beautiful. That's
Yep. It says, even when, verse 22, even when his
Job
wealth,
20, right?
Yeah, Job 20 and 22. Even when his wealth is great, he is full of care, for the hand of everyone who is in trouble is turned against him.
Right, and that's what the laborers.
Right.
Because when you're toiling, most people don't want to get up and go to work, but they have to as a necessity. You know, so they're toiling, they're laboring, they're pretty much, they got to do it.
Yeah, and they're in debt too.
Yeah.
It's not like, they're laboring and they actually have wealth.
Right.
They're laboring because they have to, because they're so far in debt that they have to keep going. They can't take what American can just take 6 months off of work and just chill.
Yeah.
And be cool and be comfortable and ain't got to worry about nothing.
No, sir.
Nobody can.
That's how it's talking about America, because in other places, you work, like for instance, in other countries, you're able to get some inheritance, you can get some land. You know what I'm saying? You good. You don't got to pay rent.
Yep.
You don't got to pay these. The people in America are busting their ass for nothing.
Yep.
To where when this deal goes down, it makes perfect sense that it's like, you retirement plans, social security check, 401ks, annuities, so on and so forth. All these things that you told us to buy into so that we be set for life, you're pulling that away?
Yep.
They get the more they get entangled in the system, the more and more in debt they become.
Right.
Because the monetary system that you're using is a debt-bearing system, a debt-bearing note. And that debt-bearing note, you will never be able to pay a debt with a debt. You'll just be chasing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like on the dollar bill, the front of the dollar bill, or it might be the back. In one of the corners, there's a web. Because it's a talisman. The back. It's in the back. Yeah. There's a web there, and it's very deceptive.
Sorry, it's in the front.
I believe it's in the front up top.
Yeah, by the $1 bill. Yep.
Yep.
It's I think it's a shield in the little corner.
Okay, yeah, but it's a web, to trap you up.
Right. Oh, in the back of the dollar bill, you have around the outer edges, you have webs. Because those are cobwebs, as you see right here. These are all cobwebs, and those cobwebs are used to catch you. Let me see. I don't know if
the majority of the people, are chasing after paper money. They're chasing after the same thing that's actually putting them in more debt.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it should be like right there.
Right, yeah, in the corner.
In the corners. You see it's a Rothschild shield.
That's it.
Around the $1.
Yeah.
The $1 sign.
So hey, now they're done with that. They're done with the money. They use the money.
Got you, bitch.
They got you.
Yep.
They did what they had to do. Now they're going to the next stage. They're done with the money now.
Right, because they promised what? Convertibility. Of the dollar.
Yep.
Then in 1971, that was cut off. The dollar was taken off the gold standard. You can't do that. So basically, you're just in debt.
Yeah, that's it.
Perpetual debt.
That's it.
Oh, you said they took it off the gold standard.
Yep.
Remember during the New Deal, they had you had to give them your gold.
Yep. Going back to FDR.
Yeah, I got a quick precept.
Let's go.
This is Proverbs 22
and 7.
Yep. Proverbs 22 and 7. The rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender.
There you go. And pretty much what you're doing is, in this system, you're pretty much a borrower.
Yeah.
You're not lending anything. The Lord said that they would lend to us, and we would not be able to lend to them. They're going to be the head, and we're going to be the tail.
Yeah, this is why you don't see any, so-called black banks,
Anymore.
There used to be, but they shut that down, man. All right, because they know if you control money and lending, you have a lot of influence over what's going on in the world.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because how do things get started? You know, people's building particular, whether it's a business, whether it's infrastructure, or their endeavors. How are endeavors started? Well, you need capital.
Yep.
You need capital to build anything.
Right.
So if you are able to fund particular endeavors, then you will take a large profit in whatever comes out of that, man.
Right. Because the capital you've invested, you make a profit on top of it.
You make a return. And if that person defaults, you can come and you can snatch up all these resources.
Yeah.
Right.
So this is how the elites, they gain control. They actually lend to countries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when the countries default, which they know that they're going to default,
Yep.
they come in and they snatch up all the resources. Now they own you.
That's it.
You know, so they pretty much own all the people of the earth. And now they're coming and like, hey, you know what? This is why all these nations, why are they moving towards digital IDs?
Right.
Because they already in bed.
Yeah.
That's it.
And they have to do it,
Yeah.
or they'll get overthrown.
That's it.
Yeah.
You know, they'll get taken out.
Hey, it says the rulers and the people were had drunk that cup.
Yeah.
You were gonna say something?
No, it's just going back to the title, the chronological order,
The prophecy timeline.
the prophecy timeline. That's it right there.
That's it.
You know, all the different stages that America has gone through, and we're at the final stage before the big one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And once prophecy opens up, that bottleneck, is gonna open up and everything's gonna move faster.
Yeah, it's over.
Just like when you're in traffic and the traffic slows down because you may only have one lane,
Mhm.
and then once you get past that one lane, the traffic opens back up.
Yep.
Well,
People flying.
that's
They start speeding.
That's the MOTB, which is a micro CHIP. Once that's fully implemented, that's gonna open up that bottleneck. So, any other final thoughts?
One more precept.
Bring it out.
Ecclesiastes 5:9. It says, "Moreover, the profit of the earth is for all.
Mm.
The king himself is served by the field."
Woo.
So, the king, well, the modern day king now, he's taking up everything and make everybody a servant.
Right.
He can't even profit off the earth.
Yeah, which the king was supposed to pretty much take care of the people.
Yeah, that's his
You
duty.
know, that was his duty to watch over the people. And they would, of course, take care of him, but he
Yeah.
was supposed to take care of them. But in this society, it's totally backwards. So,
Which he's a peasant.
Mhm.
He's a peasant in the king position.
Bauer.
You know, so the Lord's about to put him back into his position where he came from,
Yep.
and that's in the pit.
About to drop a load on him.
You know.
A big giant shit. Is that it?
You know.
So with that, we pray that you brothers and few sisters have been edified. To the next time we say, Shalom.
Shalom, shalom.